Kevin, this is very cool. These are the archives of all the Billboard stuff in existence.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, I have to take the chance to dig in on some of my big influences. I'm looking at 1965. I'm thinking about the Rolling Stones.
Absolutely.
Let's check it out. What went on in 1965?
Oh my gosh.
Whilst we've got the charts right here and the list, and it's all very exciting. Marvin Gaye, right there, looking brilliant.
Oh, a young Marvin Gaye.
They say the first things he was doing at Motown was a session drummer.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't the Marvin Gaye we know and love immediately. But here they are, number one on the Hot 100, 1965, July, the Rolling Stones with I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Probably one of the first Rolling Stones songs I really sort of heard. My dad is a massive fan of Rolling Stones.
Would you say Keith and Mick are your biggest inspiration when you're out on the road?
Definitely some of them. Yeah, definitely. They run through my mind when I'm on stage every time. I'm at the front, center, like Mick. I got a guitar in my hands like Keith, so I am thinking about them. I think subconsciously or consciously, they're on the brain. That's just also because they've been one of the most important influences for me since forever. So it's very cool to see this and to dig in and go back this far and see the Stones at the top of the Hot 100. This is a very cool place to go to next. September 1975. If I'm not wrong, I'm gonna let you do the honours.
Oh, please. Right at the top.
Right at the top, an important record, David Bowie and Fame. This is an important record on its own, but it's from an album of David Bowie's called Young Americans, which is one of the biggest sort of influencing albums for me. He had like Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, which was this like cosmic rock and roll thing. And just a couple of years later, he's made Young Americans. It's covered in saxophone. It's all soulful. Luther Vandross is one of the backing singers because he hadn't even been discovered yet.
Really?
David Bowie found him and was like, "Great voice. Do you want to sing on my record?" He was with the backing singers, and then Fame. It was definitely one of, if not the biggest single on the album. The opening track on my new record called "Wasted on Each Other" is this kind of big guitar track, but with a sort of big heavy groove to it. We're inspired by something like Fame, and I think that's why it's a big favourite for me and just a cool place to go and find in these archives. 1987. The 80s, a massive decade for this artist. September 1987, Michael Jackson, Bad. Michael Jackson has been an enormous musical inspiration of mine forever, basically since I was born. I've always loved his music. But Bad is also kind of the whole record is a great example of a real evolving artist. And through the 80s, at the beginning of the 80s, he put out Off the Wall. He was this tuxedo wearing disco guy, and then he was all about red leather jackets and gloves and hats on Thriller in the middle of the 80s. And then by Bad, he's all full buckle suit. That was a cool thing to me as a kid, but the music was the greatest thing. And Bad was it's one of the rare few albums in history where you sort of listen to all the tracks, you think all of these could be singles. And I remember this really, really well. I think this was one of my moments where I was really like, okay, pop music is brilliant. And as much as I was learning to play the guitar at this time, but Beyonce, I think she kind of just gone solo. Top of the album charts, Beyonce, Dangerously in Love. Top of the singles charts, Beyonce featuring Jay-Z, Crazy in Love.
Right.
That was at a time when I used to watch loads of music video channels on TV. And it was every other video was Crazy Enough. And as a kid, I thought Destiny's Child were great.
Yeah.
But Beyonce on her own has always been, in my eyes, just unstoppable and on the same level as Michael Jackson and Prince and people like that.
Do you have a favorite Beyonce? Because she has had so many eras and she's evolved so much since this record.
I think at this point, I kind of look back across all of it, and it's also kind of bulletproof and unstoppable. And I think, although there have been different eras and stuff, and although this was a favourite moment for me, what it's all sort of culminated in and where she's at now, she's this superhero, superhuman.
Yeah. Now, we've been talking, James, all about your inspirations for the new record, but you're actually in one of these books. We gotta pull it out.
I'll be honest, digging deep into all of this, I did forget.
Yeah, that you make music.
This is kind of cool, yeah.
This is turn back the pages here to July of 2016. Probably a fun time to look back on your life, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you turn to this page right here,
look at that.
The rock charts for hot rock songs, I should say, right there. Let it go, man.
Number 2, wow.
Those darn 21 Pilots, huh?
That's all right. They did well. They did good enough.
What are your memories though of this time?
My memories of that time are playing festivals all around the world, but particularly America, and like in some cases being in front of tens of thousands of people. I remember Outside Lands, there was 20,000 people in front of us, and it wasn't the main stage. And yeah, we caught a little video of there's a chorus in the middle of Let It Go where it kind of all strips back, and I handed it over to the crowd, and it was the loudest thing I'd ever heard at that point. And it was amazing. It was my song. It was very cool.
This is all we're living for.